Hello. So I'm going to make this video to really kind of help out. It's more for hairy homeowners, not so for the professionals, to swap out DE filter system with a brand new cartridge system for a pool. I'm doing it for a whole host of reasons, which I'll quickly show you, and you'll kind of understand. So first off, what I'm going to do is show you what I have right now, the current setup. This is the current setup I have right now. It's an old DE filter system. I have all sorts of problems with it. It basically clogs up in about 4 hours, which means then I got to backflow water. So that's what this tube is sitting right here. Goes over here, through here so I can see it, and then down the hill and so on. And 4 hours, I've had 3 companies come out. They've checked the filters, the DE, they even put in their own DE, and it still just clogs up. Starts at about 14 or 15, and next thing you know, it's at 24, 25. And you know, that's a lot of water going out. And I live in California, so that creates one big problem, being that there are always water restrictions and so forth of that nature, on top of all the sun that evaporates in the pool. So I'm constantly putting water in. Of it, here's my issue that's even worse. If you look in the pool, yes, it's a little dirty because I haven't touched it in a week. I've actually turned the filter off. I just got done with it. I just got tired. But all that junk that you see in that pool, that is DE. I mean, it's just all over. It's consistent. And you wonder why I'm not going to vacuum it up before I change filters. It's because all it will do is cycle through and basically infiltrate the water again. So at this point, I have no choice but to kind of change it out and then vacuum it up and then possibly just pull out the filters and clean them. But just imagine having to do this every freaking day. I mean, I can't even let this thing run, and I'm just done. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna swap this out and put in this nice brand new cartridge filter. And this is a Hayward 4030. So it's not the biggest, but it's definitely not the smallest. I have an older pump, which is 1.5 horsepower, and it's not variable, which may be my second thing I do, is turn to a variable pump if that goes out. But for right now, I'm not going to do it. And I have cloths in there right now because I brought it out yesterday and I didn't want any critters to crawl up in there. That wouldn't be good. So all the tools and everything that I'm going to use. So I actually have a file and some sandpaper, which you'll need. I have a big wrench that I'll need to take some pipes off. I have the power driver there with a couple things so I can take the tops off of each of the 2 units. Measuring tape, marker, a pipe cutter. You can use a saw. This is easier. You can pick it up on Amazon for under $20. Pipe glue and a screwdriver, because I need the screwdriver to take that tubing off. And then of course I have a 2-inch pipe coming out of the system, but the whole network is 1.5 pipes, so I had to get about 10 feet. That's the minimum length that I could buy of 2.5 footers. I'm sorry, 1.5 inch pipe, and then I got the 2-inch, and then I got a whole bag of stuff which I'll go through later. But my advice on this, if you go to one of these big box stores, like here in this case I went to Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever, what's good about it is overbuy what you need so you don't have to go back and then return it whatever you don't use, so you're not constantly going back and forth to the store. Highly recommend that as well. And if you go to some of the local plumbing stores, check to make sure they don't have a restocking fee, because you don't want to buy it and come back and have to realize that they have a 20% restocking fee and you have to pay for that. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take apart I'm going to go over here and take the pipe off this piece right here. And then I'm going to make sure all the water is out of here and so forth, so that it makes it very simple and easy. I'm also going to take this screw right here. I'm going to take this off in the band and then take the top off in the filter. It just makes it a little bit lighter to move and so forth. And then I'm going to clean out the area. So instead of walking and showing you all those little bits and pieces, I'm going to quickly do that and I'll be right back. And like I said, it's kind of like a big cluster of pipes in here. The homeowner who had it before me, before I bought the house 2.5 years ago, I guess they spray painted the pipes, but this thing's been around. And then on top, so I'm letting it drain now. I've taken the pipe off, taken the band off. Basically, it's pretty simple. You just twist this valve, and what it does is it basically lets out all the air at the top. Then it drains through. Sadly, it drains through here and goes back in the pool. So we'll see. I could have had it come out this one, but at this point right now, you saw the pool. It's pretty bad shape. So what I'm going to do, as soon as that water drains out, be good to go. Okay, I got the top off. Little pieces of DE down in there. And then over here, this is the filter. There's really no DE on it. As you can see, it's actually in great shape. It's hard to clean because you got to get in those little cracks right there, or you take that top piece off right here and then basically clean each one of those filters, take it apart, put it back together. It's a pain. So this thing right now, before I took it off, the pump was running at about 22 pounds, and I usually change it about 24, 25. So there's no reason for it to clog up. I mean, there's no DE on this except for, you know, scatter shot type stuff. I mean, it makes no sense to me. So, all right. So my next thing, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna disconnect this from those two pieces right here. And as soon as I get that off, then we'll be able to get to all the pieces and we'll start cutting and so forth. Okay, remove this. Little water in there, get rid of it. So here we are. Hopefully that pad is okay. I'll have to check it. I got a couple of levelers if I need to, so we can level the pipe. Now, the one thing you might notice is that we got two pipes right here. And if we go over here, we have two pipes here. Well, that's all great. I wish I could hook it up and it all fits. The only problem is, as you notice, the water goes in the top and it comes out on the bottom. In a DE world, water comes out of this pipe right here, and as you can see, it goes to the bottom. Over there, it goes into the top. So I actually have to switch in and out as part of the cartridge filter versus a DE filter. I don't know why they go opposite, but they do. But then I get to get rid of the backflow valve, which I really don't need. I guess when it's really rainy season here, sometimes that pool gets all the way up to the edge. It is kind of nice to use this backflow valve to quickly drain the pool down. But outside of that, I can live with the pool being high. But like I said, old pump works great. It's one of those situations where it's a 1.5 horsepower. It works well, and I'll just go with it. Probably needs to be cleaned up, but and then of course I've got the other pump. You know, that's for vacuuming, or not vacuuming, but for whatchamacallit, for the Polaris that goes around the bottom, which now I got a robot, so it makes it so much easier instead of having to deal with that. So that's not on. So what we have is we have the pipe right here that goes in, and then you have the pipe right here that's going to go out. So what I'm going to do is, knowing that the inflow is on the top, and you notice how high that is, I'm actually going to cut probably right here. I want to basically leave enough here in case I connect here and just go down. If not, then I'll go here, but I'd rather start here first and see. As for over here, I'm gonna actually take this leaking cracked housing piece that's on here. I'm gonna take it off, which I actually have brand new ones that I had to order online specifically for the pump. So I have that. So I'm gonna go with this. So this is like one of the specialty things that you're gonna have to order if you're going down the route I'm going, because you're not gonna find that at a local store. But then you have all the rest that's in here too. So, all right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get everything organized. I'm gonna take it off the pump and not quite cut just yet, but I'm gonna take it off the pump to make sure everything's good and all the water's out of the lines. And then once it's out of the lines, then I know I can actually start doing stuff like cutting. All right, I unscrewed this. So we're ready here. Everything's loose. Like I said, what I'm gonna do, I may cut it here first just to get rid of this whole big apparatus of stuff, which would make sense. And like I said, I'm gonna use this little puppy right here to go in and cut. So we're going to see what we can do here. And by the way, I'm right-handed, so I'm doing this with my left hand. That's not good. That just means these pipes are dry rotted. So, see, it's nice. Not sure what broke on there, but it looks like something snapped. Hopefully. Oh, and you can see, broke the pipe. That's how dry rotted. Now I'm a little worried about going much farther because I don't want any extra pipe to break. Specifically, when you start looking at it, that from that joint up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look and see, and maybe what I'll do is maybe there's not much pressure and I can cut it here. I just hate to, this doesn't feel as bad. This feels like it's very dry. So we'll check it out. But now we got it. As you can see, pipe's done. So this is the water going back, and that's the water coming in. And if you remember, the water coming in goes to the top. So what I'm going to probably do is go from the bottom first and then come from here next. And what I don't want to do is block this cover, because you got the filter basket in there and I got to be able to get to it to turn it. The nice thing is if I bring this down, it won't be in the way. I always had to climb over top of it to get it. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back. One thing I want to mention, you know, I just had to put this on, and when I bought it originally, the bottom one right here, the threads were broken on it. And so I tried to get a hold of the manufacturer because I bought this through Amazon. There's like swim pool, something or whatever. I can't get a hold of them. It keeps wanting me to go to Amazon and return it. Then there's a restocking fee. It just got really stupid. So I ended up paying 50 bucks. But just so you're aware, it is May of 2026. And this sells for $1,819. It was $200 off, so I got it for $1,619 through Amazon, and it cost me about $20 to get a new threaded piece so that I can do it. So it wasn't that hard. I just ate it up and did it. But outside of that, I had to re-put this piece back in, and then this screws on. And I'm one of these people that I don't over tighten. I probably under tighten everything. So I figure what I'll do is I'll put it on, and if there's any type of leak, I'll just tighten it. I'd rather go that direction than to tighten it too much and then realize something snaps or breaks or whatever later on. So, and there's nothing wrong with like a little leak. You can, like I said, that's one of those things you can just tighten it and stop it. But I have these on for right now. I'm actually gonna move this over into the spot to see where everything's at, so then I could go in and start marking stuff. All right, so this is the cartridge filter system. As you can see, the little cartridges. You know, the top just comes right off. You just pull these out, wash them down, and put them back in. And supposedly you could wait about 6 months, pull them out, clean them, and they're good for like a couple of years. I'm good with that, considering how much time I've spent messing with that. It's been horrible. So, all right, so what I'm doing is I'm just taking all this stuff off, because one of the things when I put it in, I want to make sure this base is level, and this is a good way I could put a leveling stick, which I did miss at the beginning when I said this is what you need. So I'll grab one of those. All right, so I actually decided to cut it, and that's a little bit dry rot, so I'm gonna have to sandpaper it down. But the idea is it's gonna come out, and then I'm gonna have an angle one that's gonna go down, and then when it comes down, it's gonna go like this, right on over. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut some of this piping, and I'll show you. Now I will tell you this, and as you can see, it goes in there fairly simple. Problem is, it doesn't go in all the way, and if you try to crank it down in there, you'll never get it out. When you go to actually do the cement on the pipes, what it does, it will slide all the way in. So everything that you dry fit will look like, oh, it fits perfect. And then when you go to slide it in with the cement, you'll realize everything is off. So the idea here is we're gonna cut it a little bit longer than where we need on each one. We're gonna dry fit it, but just push it in enough to hold it, knowing that we probably have like a good another inch or so of overlap that we're gonna have to go. So at that point, I'm gonna start cutting, and I'm gonna start laying out. I'm gonna basically use the pin, because that's where I know how far the pipe will go in. And then of course the measuring tape as well, so I know what lengths I got to cut the pipes over here. Good thing these aren't dry rotted, so this will make it pretty simple. So one thing that I noticed when I looked at this, when I sat down, see, I'm gonna have to fix that. But you know, when I go in here and I put this on, I mean, I'm pushing pretty hard to put this thing down. As you can see, it's barely going up in there. So this is going to be a good inch in here that it's going to slide down once I do all the sanding and get it all nice and smooth, and also put on that cement and cleaner, so it'll go down farther. So I got to be aware of that when I'm running these pipes. Specifically, I got a pipe that's going to kind of go down and then over. When I push that thing down, that pipe going down is going to go down even farther. So got to keep it in mind when I'm doing all of this. And like I said, the good thing is this whole base is movable. So if I go too long, I can push it back and forth, or for that matter, just kind of level it a little bit. And I don't know if you noticed, but see, everything moves. So you have a little bit of flexibility. By the time I get this pipe over, it may not be 100% accurate in here, but it's going to be pretty close. And I could just move the pipes. All right, so what I've done, so here, this is 2-inch. This is a 2-inch coupler with a reducer down to 1.5. So 1.5 goes here, this goes, then it goes up to this, over and down. So what I'm gonna do, because the way it's kind of the dynamic setup right here, is that all of this is gonna push back, this is gonna push back, this is gonna push back, that's gonna push back. And then over here, the same thing, push back, this is gonna come down. That it's hard to really kind of align, but what I can do is measure the distance upwards that goes up and down. And from there, once I get this pipe in, then this will be kind of like my measuring tape, in the sense of, does this work? Does it need to be shorter or longer? Because the idea is if I can get this down and it aligns somewhat with this, this is all one big straight shot. All right, so I got it. It's a little off, which is good because I can't get that all the way in, can't get that all the way in, and that's not all the way down. So that's gonna go down. This is gonna get a little bit shorter. That's gonna get a little bit shorter, of course with that too. And this is gonna go shorter, and that should be able to make up the difference that will equal to this, as you can see. I am not gonna cut yet, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up this pipe over here to make sure everything works well. I'm not missing anything because I'd rather just do it all at once. Plus I got to sand every single piece and so on. So I'll do that like one at a time and make sure everything's good. But dry fitting everything is what we need to do. All right. I got done dry fitting everything. I hate it because it's still up in the air like that, but I don't have a choice in the matter. But at least it's around that so I can get it, as you can see. And then of course, once that gets put in, then I'll have another pipe like this in between here, and we'll be connected. My goal here is I want to get everything connected except for into this. Because what I can do is if there's any variable length I can adjust this pipe here as much as the pipe that I need to go up here and get them exactly it. The good thing is I got some room here so I could come forward, and I'm pretty much almost to the back, so I know for a fact that this connection right here, as you can see, if I bring this pipe up, it's short, so it's going to come forward. I may do another pipe a little bit longer, but we'll see. And like I said, this is not all the way in either. That's not all the way in. So what I'll end up doing is I'll probably just take this piece off, put it on here because it doesn't matter. This is just a reducer. And then just redo these pipes so that they all come to like a certain length to right here and just cut them. And then I'll just take the whole system and just push it in. But we have the inlet right here. Water comes up, goes to the top, as noted right here, inlet. And then here's the piece that kind of goes up and down. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start taking it apart and I'm going to start sanding. So, you know, sand the outside, sand the inside of the ones that go on the outside. And then, like I said, once you get done with that, then you have these two that you want to do. So this is going to be your primer. So you're going to swirl that around on the inside and the outside. And then you're going to put in the happy glue. So once we do that over top of the primer, we're going to push the pipe in. And the idea is you push it in and just give it a little turn, and within a minute it'll be solid and you're not moving it. So this is a one-time fit. If not, I got to cut it and start over again, and that's not what I want to do. So I'm going to start with the bottom first. I will come back once I get the bottom one in, and then I'll come back and do the top piece second, only because it's easier to do the bottom without the top on. All right, so I just want to show you this reducer. So this is just a collar where it goes from a 2-inch pipe. Oops. And then this just slides right in here. So you got your 1/2 inch pipe here, and then you get your 2-inch, and it reduces the pipe fittings. You could buy other ones too that's similar to kind of like this outer one right here that reduces down, but this is all they had at Home Depot, which is fine. I don't need to get so fancy. So just continuing with my happy stuff. Yes, I'm a mess, but you know what? I don't care. It's a pool pump, and I'll probably end up painting the pipes black at some point, just so it all conforms, everything's black. So all right, let me finish this stuff up. I'll be right back. All right, I got all the gluing done. I haven't pushed, they're just touching. I haven't pushed them on yet or glued them or anything, but soon I'm gonna do that, and hopefully get everything ready to go. I gotta let it sit about 24 hours or so to kind of really harden up, because there's pressure on here and you don't want pressure to break the seals, but so we'll see. Okay, it's been close to 24 hours, so I got all the piping in. Like I said, I got to turn this dial. Oops, here we go. Turn this dial once I figure out where the bottom is, so I'll stick it up here. But this is going to go up to somewhere, I don't know, between 10 and 15. And then I'll turn this back. Green will go to where it's at. And then, of course, when it hits red, that's when I got to go out and clean out the filters. So right now, it's got a little bit of water in there, so I should be able to pull in. All the pipes here, it was a little misty this morning, so pipe's got a little water on top. Real key is when I turn it on, you know, will there be any water squirting out? Or for that matter, let it run for about a minute and we'll see if we see any drips on the ground. At least the ground is dry, so that'll kind of really be a telltale sign. So it's time to turn it on. Let's see what happens. Yeah, the water's going in good. It'll take a little bit. It'll start to bubble up. There we go. I should have cleaned out that filter. That's okay. And it'll take a minute. There we go. Now it's starting to pop in. So it looks like right around about 11 is where it's going to be. This is a strong pump, so it's close. Look at it. All right, so now I'm gonna walk on over with this mess. It's time to clean this up, stir it up in the water. I'll probably end up having to pull the filters out anyway once all this DE powder gets stirred up and gets sucked into the filters sooner than 6 months, but that's okay. I don't mind going in there a few times to clean this stuff out. So make it easy. Just gonna do the bottom. And then I'll just go on down and go wherever it needs to go. And I'll come back. Hopefully it'll stir it up so I can actually see it a little bit, but that ultimately will start going. Like I said, I only have it on the bottom right now. I'll probably clean the sides too as well, just to get whatever's there, whatever's bad, and so on. And then, you know, at least the pool is clean and it's not green, so, which is actually good. The DE filter is doing something, or they grabbed it up. So now, clean up that, clean up some of these leaves and stuff. And then let's just go over here for a minute. Looks good. No bubbles in there, really. So, which is actually really good. And I'm looking around, I don't see anything on the ground. So we're done. And I'll probably come back like next week or something and spray paint it black just to get rid of all the blue stuff. By the way, that stuff just scrapes off. It's not that big a deal. I already tried it, so it worked well. So I think we're good. And the Hayward filter's working, so we'll see. As you can see, it's actually wider than this one. So it's stuck over. Same thing. That other filter was right on top of that motor, so I didn't want to put it on top. What I might do is come back later on, you know, someday when I have a chance, I'll unbuckle it take the filter off, and what I'll do is I'll just get a bag of cement, block it off, and actually just pour it all the way around just to hold up the filter or whatever. But the filter's flat, nice and level. I put a brick over here on the edge to do it, and then it's a little bit on the long side, so again I got another little brick underneath there and a wedge just to kind of hold it up so that it's level. And sorry, I got cut off, so I'll come back and put maybe a bag of concrete under there, smooth it out, put the filter on there. But it is nice and level right now. Everything's working well. I want to point out a few things that, yes, everything that looks perfect here is not perfect. Like I said, I messed up a few times. This corner right here was going like this, and when I turned here, I was short, and I had already glued up here. So after pushing everything in, so what I ended up doing, having to cut the pipe, and I put these 45s in here, which work well too as part of it too. As you notice this nice curve right here versus the 45, a lot of pool people will say, do the curves, are called sweet curves, versus this 45. I can only find those at a plumbing store, and they wanted a restocking fee, so I said, no, that's okay, I'll just go with 90 degrees. So like I said, I probably would have not put a sweet curve there. Definitely probably not there. I mean, who knows? So at this point, what's one, a couple 45s, it's not that big a deal. And then the other thing I want to point out, I held this for 10 seconds and it slipped out. And same with this one. And what I do is I want to see, I don't feel anything. I don't feel anything there. So to me, it's not a high pressure system. I probably should replace it, but you know what? I'm gonna leave it because right now it's at 10 pounds, 11 pounds. So I guess it's 25, above my thing. This is not a system where it goes through and you stop and it holds, at some ridiculous poundage. The water system freely flows through. It's just the pressure that goes through that creates the 11 pounds. And then when the system cuts off, it relieves that pounds. So back down to zero. So there's not a consistent pressure like you do in your water lines in your house, where I think the standard is somewhere between 50 to 55 pounds. So, and it possibly could be more. Some people's systems are, and you gotta have a reducer. But that's a lot of poundage. You don't have that pounds here. So this is where we stand. Go ahead and make a mistake. I mean, we all make mistakes. I made a mistake. I just fixed it as I went through. And like I said, it really wasn't that hard. It just spent a lot of time cutting and putting together all these pipes, between basically figuring out how to run the pipes, how long the pieces need to be. And then once you get that, sanding each of the ones, and then you had to go in and put the primer, and then you had to put the glue on and put it in. And then what I learned very quickly is hold it. And when I say hold it for like 30 seconds or more. Don't hold it for 10 seconds like I did. Like I said, I learned that pretty quickly. As you can see, the rest of the pipes are fine. But as you kind of go through, there's no leaks. It's running well. It looks good to me. We're going to see how it goes. The big thing here is, like I said, we'll wait and see how the robot stirs up the water. Specifically all that DE, it'll go into the filter system. So we'll see if that even creates any type of a pressure issue on the filter system. But if I got to go in there and clean it after a week just to get all that DE out, I'm fine with that. So that's it. I think anybody can put this in. You could probably save yourself. I know I'm here in California, and they wanted, just for this item right here, they wanted $2,800 for it, and I got it for $16. On top of it, they added labor of $800 on top of that, and then the plumbing supplies, all these pipes, $200 on top of that. So as you can see, that's cost me, like I said, $1,600. All these pipes right here, or plus the glue, was $60 bucks, $65. And I'm gonna take back some of those extras so it'll actually come down. Because these piping joints and the pipes themselves are cheap. Each of those little corners right there, I think were $3 or $4 each. And then you're talking about the 2-inch pipe, or yeah, the 2-inch pipe and the 1.5-inch pipe. They're both 10 feet long. I couldn't get the short pieces, and sometimes they have short pieces. So I didn't use a whole lot on the 2-inch pipe. I used more on the, of course, the 1.5-inch pipe. But I think each of those were like $8. So it really wasn't much. And like I said, there's nothing else you really need. And then the pipe cement, which was on sale, and I think it was like $14 or something like that. And if you already have some, which I actually had some, but it was kind of old, so I didn't use it. So I bought the new stuff. But like I said, put that on. It's running well. Seems really good. Like I said, it's still sitting at 11. So I'm gonna go and let it sit for an hour or two, come back, just take a look and just keep monitoring. And if I get through today, I'm good. Hopefully this helped if you watched it. I know it's kind of long, but it's good.